Yeah. I know what you're thinking. That this is just your normal kawaida average hot hatch. But you're wrong. And quite wrong to the extreme. Let me tell you why. Instantly, if you're out in a market to buy a hot hatch, there is one common car that will come into your mind, and that is the Golf GTI. What if I told you there are alternatives that are giving the Golf GTI a big competition? And here I'm talking about, of course, the sister, the Audi S3, and even the Mercedes-Benz A45, which has the most powerful 2-liter engine. And I know you guys are asking me, but Ibra, you're sitting next to a Volvo V40. What's all about this Volvo V40? Does it match up to the credibility of a hot hatch that delivers performance? And the answer is yes, because what I have next to me is just not your kawaida average Volvo V40. This is the Volvo V40 T5 R design. And R design was a department born out of Volvo when they had their championship or their competition in racing back in the days, when you had the legends like the Volvo 740, the Volvo 850. I know you younger guys, Gen Zs, don't know about that, but there was a time that Volvo meant business in terms of performance and racing, because old people knew Volvo for being boxy and safe, and that is one unique aspect that you also get on this particular Volvo V40 T5 R design. Not only does it give you performance, but it also offers immense safety options that are good for you and the family if you're planning to have one in that car. That racing DNA didn't just stay on the track. You can see it reflected in every line of this R design styling. Unlike the many competing hot hatches on this category, I'm talking about the Golf, talking about the S3, and even the Mercedes-Benz A-Class, this has a totally different styling. Those three I've mentioned are quite aggressive on the look. You will know without a doubt that those cars mean business. A sporty front bumper, sporty rear bumper, side skirts that are also quite attractive and sporty, you know, painted calipers in some instances. But this, an American by the name Benjamin designed this car, and he went for a subtle, easy design on a hot hatch. You could mistake it for any other kawaida car on the road until it shifts past you. Under the hood of this Volvo V40 T5 R design is a very unique engine. And the reason why I'm saying this engine is unique because Volvo moved away from what you used to have before, which were Ford-inspired EcoBoost piece of engines. And so here we have original Volvo engines. And you got to get them in a configuration of either 2-liter or a 1.5cc of engine displacement. And this one here is a 2-liter and the most powerful variant of the 2-liter. So that's what you get under the hood, which is quite interesting. I think Volvo lovers for a very long time have been waiting for a chance or opportunity to get a Volvo that is full round and complete a Volvo. And that is what you get when you're buying this Volvo V40 T5 R design, to be precise, from 2015 all the way to 2019. And it gets better because paired to that engine is an 8-speed IC transmission, automatic, of course, you know, which makes this car quite interesting. So not only will it give you good fuel economy, but it'll also give you an edge of performance and do it reliably, because there's nothing better on the market right now than automatic. While everybody else is moving towards CVTs, you know, Volvo are keeping the performance pedigree in check by giving you an 8-speed automatic, both power and fuel economy. So let me enjoy.
But to really understand what this T5 is all about, let's pop the hood and take a closer look.
Interesting. So a lot has changed on this platform of the Volvo V40. Previously, Volvo was inspired by Ford engines. So we had a lot of Ford EcoBoost piece of engines in this car. But that changed since 2015, when Volvo moved fully into developing and designing their own engines. And that's what we call the VEA, Volvo Engine Architecture. And that's what you get on this particular car. So what engine options do you get if you consider buying this particular Volvo V40? This is the high spec, the most powerful, the most that comes with a lot of performance elements. And this is a 2-liter T5, as I said earlier, and this car is an R design. So that is what you get as option number one. The second option is you can get what we call a destruct 1500cc, same design architecture. In fact, if you put these engines next to each other, you will not tell the difference. It's actually the same engine, just the same 2-liter engine, but it has been destruct. In a car or in an engine, there are two things. There's what we call the bow. So you have the same bow on both engines, 80 millimeters on both engines, but what you have as a difference is the stroke. The stroke is the distance the piston travels as it goes down and up to develop power and give you the punch that you get when you're driving. So the second engine, that is 1500cc in engine displacement, has a shorter stroke. That's why I said it's a destruct 2-liter variant of the same engine. And those are the only engine options that you get, but of course they are giving you different power output, so you can get different variants of the 1500cc and again different variants of the 2-liter, and this is the highest, most powerful version of the 2-liter. Let's talk about the problems that you might get if you choose to buy the newer engines that come with the 2-liter or the 1500cc Volvo engine architecture. Number one is plastic flanges, and the plastic flanges, especially on this engine, is the one that connects the reservoir, the coolant reservoir, to another cooling point on this engine, and that one comes with a very tiny brittle plastic pipe that oftenly, if you're not careful, will break, and it might cause this car to overheat, and there you have your engine kaput. Something else, this car being designed from the former Volvo engine designs, you get common things like PCV valves that occasionally need you to remove, clean or replace over time, and if you don't take care of that, again the pressure inside the crankcase will develop a problem down to the seals, and you'll start having leakages on this particular engine. So anytime you feel you've clogged up your PCV valve, make sure you clean it or replace it, and that is how you give this engine better health to serve you in your endeavors anytime you're driving a Volvo. Quite beautiful and awesome. Nothing sets this Volvo V40 apart from its competition better than its interior. And interior, I'm talking about Napa leather, comfortable orthopedic seats that are uniquely designed for Volvos. And these are the same seats you'll get on your S60, XC60. Any Volvo will come packed with these seats. And the fact that Volvo failed to have the same seats in the V40, both at the front and the rear, something unique and special about this car. Okay? What makes it more unique and special? Of course, you get soft plastic material on the dashboard, a floating center console that has this unique padding where you can connect your phone and dial out. One thing I don't like is that you have a small screen, but you get the luxury of playing videos on it when you're static. And something that gives this car away that it's a performer, that it's a car that you'll go on the road and thrash your GTI, is the fact that it has an R-design badge on the steering wheel, which is multifunctional, telescopic at the same time, so you can push it to your end, tilt it back, bring it up and down, which is quite nice. And also when you put this car on, you get greeted with an R-design badging on the cluster, which is digital all round. Quite special and unique. Again, let me snap away the shots.
Enough about the looks. The real question is, how does all this come together when you're actually on the road?
Being a hot hatch, of course, driving feel is one very important thing that you need to consider when you're buying this car. This is an R design, so being an R design being a sportier category of Volvo, there are a few things that I need to tell you about the suspension setup. This suspension is firmed up, it's sporty, it fills all the potholes, even the minute ones. So that is something you need to know. But again, if you don't like that, you can actually buy this car and soften the feel a little bit. Just buy slightly softer suspension or coil springs, slap it here, and then you have a very good versatile car to drive. But that's how this car is set up from the factory. But the good thing, which is the inverse of that, is this car handles like a prince. Like you take corners without worry, and there's just a nice corner up way ahead of me. And of course, I'm being graced by all the necessary safety precautions that you get when you're buying a Volvo. Front collision mitigation. I have the green sign here lighting on. That means I can be able to safely navigate my car. Being a sports hatchback, being powerful, I still have the safety features to navigate all the tricky scenarios when I get into one. And so, look at that. Woo! That's how beautiful this car is. Okay, that's the beauty of the suspension. That's what it gets you. Volvo. How many times did I call you? Well, there's a tuk-tuk here. 4-spot calipers at the front, 2-spoke at the rear, which is pretty standard. But if you want more stopping power, you can hook it up with a 6-spot at the front and maybe 4-pot at the rear. Perforated discs, make it more sportier. Paint those calipers yellow, black, red, whatever you like, and make this a complete car. So in terms of handling, that's the design structure of what you get when you're buying a V40. Wow. Here's a corner here, taking it at 100. Woo! Easy peasy, like a peasy. I love Volvos, man, especially performance Volvos. They're just nice. You get yourself a 740 and keep vigil, because we might just have a 740 on the channel next, so that you guys enjoy, the history of performance that Volvo has had for the entire time. So let's settle this. So we're going to push this car 0 to 100 and see, does it match up the GTI credentials? Ama nilikuwa najichocha tu. You ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3, foot on the brake, accelerator. Wow. Good launch. Yes. Hit 100. Yeah. I know. Before I read the numbers, I feel there's something that might let this car down. But allow me to read the numbers. 0 to 100 in 9.52 seconds. Quite slow, right? Yeah. I bet the GTI will do lower than 8 seconds. But that's down to one simple thing. The transmission. I feel the 8-speed I see in transmission of this car is the slowest shifter. In fact, anytime it kicks into gears, you could feel it. And that is where the DSG comes in. Smooth like butter, just keeps the gears going and banging, and I believe that is an edge and an advantage that the GTI has over this monster. But down on paper, in terms of numbers, she has more numbers better than the GTI, and I bet the GTI will smoke her maybe down 2 or 2.5 seconds just because of the transmission. But for any other car, don't play with this car. You see this car coming next to you or coming after you, please let it pass, because it will embarrass, it will dent your ego. Show me a better value proposed car, better than the Volvo V40 T5 R design. When it comes to one, performance. As we've proven, this car is one of the most powerful hot hatch on the road. Number two, it gives you a complete blend of safety. I don't think there's any other hot hatch in the market that gives you those two options. And did I say the interior is also classic and leather and comfy? Let me keep on snapping away awesome shots of how beautiful this Volvo V40 is. See you on the next one. I am busy here, sorry.